You ever notice how some women look at you for a second too long, and your brain tells you it's nothing? Good, because that's exactly how men lose the women who were secretly hoping they'd make a move. And tonight, you're going to learn the signs she prays you don't see, because once you see them, you'll never be the same man again. Listen carefully, because what I'm about to tell you is something most women will never admit out loud. Not to their friends, not to their sister, and definitely not to you. See, women hide interest, not because they want to play games, but because they fear misjudgment more than rejection. A man rejecting her hurts. A man thinking she's too easy, too available, or too interested. That scars her ego in a way she won't recover from for years. So she does something subtle, something delicate, something you were never trained to see. But once you spot even one of the 4 signs, you'll know she's into you with almost frightening accuracy. It starts with presence. A woman who's secretly drawn to you will place herself in your orbit long before she ever risks a word. She'll linger where you are, even when she has no real reason to. She's not following you. She's studying the room, pretending to be busy, pretending to scroll. But every few seconds, her attention comes back to you like gravity. That's the first truth you've been blind to. Desire speaks in proximity long before it speaks in words. The second truth is even more hidden. Women mirror, not consciously, not intentionally, but biologically. Her body will copy your posture, your tone, your rhythm. If you lean back, she relaxes. If you get energized, she lights up. It's one of the most ancient flirting signals on Earth. Yet men miss it because it feels too small to matter. The universe doesn't shout its secrets, it whispers them. And you're only now learning to listen. But here's the part that most men never realize. Women express interest through micro-risk, not big gestures, not obvious moves. Micro-risk, tiny emotional gambles, a comment that could fall flat, a joke that could get ignored, a message that could go unanswered. When she takes even a tiny risk with you, that's her revealing a truth she's terrified to expose. And most men get it wrong, thinking she's just friendly. No, the friendliest woman alive won't take a social risk for a man she feels nothing for. And there's one more thing, something darker, something every man needs to understand. Women don't test men to play games, they test men to feel safe. Her little hesitation, her teasing question, her pause before answering, that's not disinterest. That's her making sure you're the kind of man who won't misuse the access she's thinking about giving you. Men see tests as disrespect. Women use them as protection. If you miss these tiny signals, she will assume you're uninterested. And once a woman convinces herself she misread you, she shuts off emotions faster than you can blink. She'll protect her heart by acting cold, distant, unreachable, and you'll wonder what happened. When the truth is, you didn't read the signs she was begging you to see. So breathe, focus, because the next signs aren't just psychological, they're biological. And once you understand them, you'll see interest in a woman long before she ever speaks it. There's a moment, so subtle, so quick, that almost every man overlooks. A moment when a woman's guard slips, even if only for half a second. And if you catch it, you'll know with near certainty that she feels something for you. It's the eye shift, not the obvious stare, not the bold eye contact you see in movies. I'm talking about the stolen glance, where she looks at you, then looks away the exact millisecond you look back. That tiny flash of panic, that's attraction fighting with self-protection. If she felt nothing, her gaze wouldn't run. She wouldn't flinch. Women don't fear being caught looking at men they don't want. What she's afraid of is you knowing she wants you. And when a woman is secretly into you, that fear shapes everything she does. She becomes hyper-aware of her reactions, of how she appears, of how you might interpret every little thing. Her mind becomes a loop of, did he notice? Was that too obvious? Should I act normal? She's calculating everything. while you're standing there completely unaware of the impact you're having on her. But this is where things get interesting, because desire makes a woman unpredictable. One moment she'll be warm, engaged, playful, and the next she'll pull back, act indifferent, or even borderline cold. And men misread this constantly. They assume she lost interest. No, what actually happened is far more vulnerable. The intensity scared her. A woman who doesn't care will never fluctuate. It's the woman fighting her feelings who becomes inconsistent. And her inconsistency is your hidden blueprint. Because every emotional high and every sudden withdrawal is her revealing the truth she's desperately trying to hide. You matter. There's another sign that hides in plain sight, and almost every man misses it because it doesn't feel romantic. It feels inconvenient. A woman who's secretly attracted to you suddenly becomes awkward around you in situations where she's usually confident. She stumbles over her words. She overthinks her sentences. She fixes her hair twice in the same minute. She laughs too much, or not at all. She goes from composed to clumsy because your presence destabilizes her mask. And the mask is everything. Women move through the world with a curated version of themselves, polished, controlled, socially perfect. But when a woman is secretly into you, that curated version glitches. She reveals the real version of herself accidentally. The version that tries to impress you without letting you see she's trying. Her friends notice. Her energy shifts. Her voice softens. Her attention runs to you even when she's talking to someone else. But here's the most overlooked truth of all. Women broadcast interest through emotional exposure. She'll tell you things she doesn't share with the average guy. Not deep secrets, but small vulnerabilities. A worry she's been carrying. A thought she wasn't sure she should say out loud. A little detail about her day that she felt comfortable giving only to you. Men underestimate these moments, not knowing they're watching a woman open the door to her inner world. And the thing about doors, they don't stay open forever. Once she senses you don't notice, or you don't care, or you're reading her wrong, she'll close it. Quietly. Permanently. And you'll never know what you almost had. But if you understand the next signs, the physical tells, she won't be able to hide her attraction from you ever again. There's a language every woman speaks without ever opening her mouth. A language older than culture, older than dating, older than logic itself. And if you learn to read it, you'll know when a woman is attracted to you even before she knows it herself. It's the language of her body. A woman's body betrays her long before her words do. She can hide her emotions. She can control her tone. She can craft her responses with perfect intention. But her instincts, her physical instincts, those are uncontrollable. Watch her shoulders. A woman who feels nothing will keep her shoulders tense and neutral. But a woman who's secretly into you, her shoulders soften, her posture unconsciously opens. She exposes more of herself, literally, because deep inside she feels safe around you. Safety isn't something she thinks about, it's something she feels, and her body will show it before her mind catches up. And then there's the distance. Not the distance you can measure with a ruler, no, the distance she allows. If she leans in a little too close during a conversation, if she walks beside you instead of behind you, if she stands close enough that her arm almost brushes yours, that's her body asking for connection while her mind pretends it's accidental. Men underestimate proximity. Women use it like a magnet. But here's something even more telling. When a woman is attracted to you, her nervous system betrays her. She'll touch her neck, her collarbone, her wrist. These are some of the most exposed, vulnerable parts of the body. Touching them is a self-soothing gesture, something humans do when they're nervous, excited, or overstimulated. And nothing overstimulates a woman more than a man she's secretly drawn toward. But the biggest tell, her feet. You can lie with your face, your tone, even your words, but feet rarely lie. A woman who's uninterested will angle her feet away from you, even when her body stays polite. But a woman who's secretly into you will subconsciously angle her feet toward you, even in a crowded room, even when she's pretending she's not paying attention. It's her body aligning with you before she even realizes she's doing it. And if she plays with her hair when you talk, that's not vanity, that's biology. It's how the female body signals youth, softness, and attention. But she won't do it consciously, not unless she's already comfortable being flirty. This kind of hairplay is subtle, thoughtless, instinctive. She twirls a strand, she tucks it behind her ear, she touches it when you make her nervous. These gestures aren't random, they're signals she hopes you don't decode too quickly, because if you did, she'd feel exposed. But here's the most powerful sign of all, one men notice but never understand: the lingering hesitation. The moment after she says goodbye, before she actually walks away. That pause, that tiny beat in time, that's her wanting you to say something more, to continue the moment, to give her a reason to stay just a little longer. Women don't pause for men they feel nothing for. They don't hesitate. They don't linger. They leave. So if she hesitates, if she lingers, if she gives you that extra moment that didn't need to exist, she's waiting for something from you. And the truth is simple. Physical signs don't lie. They can't. They're the purest form of attraction because the body reacts even when the mind denies it. But the next signs, the emotional ones, those are the signs that reveal not just interest, but attachment. There's a moment in every connection when a woman stops being curious about a man and starts becoming emotionally invested in him. It doesn't look dramatic. It doesn't look romantic. In fact, most men miss it completely because it feels too ordinary, too subtle, too human. But emotional investment is the clearest, strongest signal that she's secretly into you. And it's the one sign she can't hide, no matter how hard she tries. You'll notice it first in the way she listens. A woman who's just being polite keeps the conversation light, surface level, mechanical. But a woman who's drawn to you emotionally wants to understand you. And understanding requires presence. When she listens to you with her whole attention, her eyes focused, her reactions spontaneous, her energy tuned into yours, that's not friendliness, that's emotional curiosity. And emotional curiosity is the first doorway to attachment. The second doorway is even more telling. She remembers things, tiny things, random things. Things you didn't even remember telling her. Your favorite snack. That story about your childhood. The way you said you can't sleep when it's too quiet. She stores those details because they matter to her. They become anchors, little reminders of who you are and why she feels something she's not ready to say out loud. And then there's the shift in tone. Her voice softens when she talks to you. Her sarcasm becomes playful. Her guard dips in ways she doesn't let happen with other men. A woman who's secretly into you shows the real version of herself, not the polished, socially curated version she shows everyone else. She gives you the unedited version, the version with real reactions, real emotion, real vulnerability. But here's the sign most men miss. She opens emotional windows, not doors, windows. Windows are smaller, safer, easier to retract. She'll share small insecurities, subtle doubts, personal thoughts, not heavy traumas, just glimpses into her inner world. And men often think this is her venting or being friendly. No, this is emotional exposure. A woman doesn't do this with a man she doesn't trust. And interest without trust doesn't exist. And here's the deepest truth many men never understand. A woman invests with her time before she invests with her heart. If she goes out of her way to talk to you, if she initiates conversations even in subtle ways, if she finds excuses to keep a dialogue alive, she's not being polite. She's trying to create a connection she hopes you can feel too. But the rarest sign? The emotional flinch. When she gets jealous, but tries to hide it. When she becomes quiet after you mention another woman. When she jokes about you being a player, but there's tension behind her smile. Jealousy is the emotion women try hardest to suppress, and the emotion they fail hardest to hide. Even the smallest shift speaks volumes. Jealousy doesn't reveal possession. It reveals fear. Fear of losing something she hasn't even admitted she wants. If you see that flinch, she's deeper in than she'll ever admit. But emotional investment also comes with risk, for her and for you. Because once she opens that inner world, even a little, she's watching closely to see if you respect it or ignore it. And how you respond next determines whether she moves closer or shuts down completely. And the final sign, the one almost no man on earth understands, goes beyond psychology, beyond emotion, and into instinct. There's a point where attraction stops being subtle, stops being psychological, stops being emotional, and becomes instinctive, raw, biological. The kind of attraction a woman can't rationalize, can't suppress, and can't talk herself out of. And once you see this final sign, you'll never doubt again whether a woman is secretly into you, because it reveals itself only when she's already invested far deeper than she intended. It's the shift in her energy around you. This isn't something you can measure with words or gestures. It's something you feel. A magnetic tension in the space between you, a softness in her presence, the way the air changes when she walks into the room, the way her mood lifts or calms just because you're near. A woman who's secretly into you radiates a different frequency when she knows you're there, not because she's trying to impress you, but because her body can't help responding. She becomes more feminine around you, instinctively, her movements slow, her voice warms, her face softens, not because she's trying to play a role, but because you activate something in her she doesn't feel with most men. The feminine energy opens only when she feels drawn, safe, and captivated, and you'll see that shift without her ever needing to say a word. But there's another instinct even stronger, the instinct to nurture. A woman who's secretly into you will find ways to care for you in small, almost invisible ways. She'll fix your collar without thinking. She'll check if you ate. She'll send a message when she knows you're stressed. She'll notice when you're off, even when you pretend everything's fine. Her care isn't an obligation, it's an urge, a pull, something inside her that whispers, protect him, support him, be there. And most men miss this because they mistake it for politeness. No. A woman's nurturing energy is sacred. She doesn't offer it to men she doesn't feel something for. But the deepest instinct, the one that reveals her attraction beyond any doubt, is her desire to be chosen, not pursued, not chased, chosen. Her behavior shifts from observing you to wanting to be seen by you. She'll dress a little nicer when she knows she'll see you. She'll position herself where you might notice her. She'll try to stand out in ways subtle enough to deny, but meaningful enough to feel. She wants to matter to you. She wants to be the woman who crosses your mind. She wants to be the reason your tone softens. And here's the truth most men never hear. Women don't fear rejection the way men do. They fear insignificance. They fear being invisible to the one man they wish would see them. If she's secretly into you, she won't always confess it. She won't always flirt boldly. She won't always make the first move, but she will reveal it in how she changes around you, how she invests in you, how she softens for you, and how she hopes, quietly, secretly, that you notice even one of the signs she's been dropping without meaning to. Because once a woman chooses you internally, her body, her energy, her emotions, and her instincts all give her away. The real question isn't whether she likes you. The real question is, are you paying attention?